G'day there guys, it's your main man Marky, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole? Let's go. Am I the arsehole for getting upset with my best friend's son for giving my son cake? My son is 8 years old and recently attended his friend's 8th birthday party. This friend is my best friend's son. I don't let my son have any or much junk food at all, and usually he brings his own snacks. For this incident, it was carrot sticks and ranch, two events that have a lot of sugary foods. My best friend bakes a lot and made a special chocolate cake for her son's birthday. When it comes to my son, I don't let him have cake. This is personal preference for his health, not for any allergy reasons, and he is not diabetic or gluten-free. My son knows he isn't allowed to have cake because of the additives. When he told his best friend this at the party, his friend apparently got upset and told him it was good cake, not bad cake like I say, because his mum made it and it was his birthday cake. My son then ate cake, got a sugar rush, and crashed, making him cranky for the rest of the day after we left the party. I told my friend she needs to have some kind of consequences for her son to teach him not to peer pressure other children into eating things they are not allowed to have. She said because it wasn't an issue of allergies or health, that she's sorry my son was cranky, but she won't be punishing her son or talking to him about it on his birthday. She says also that she'll just watch more closely / make sure her husband does in the future, as well as have a chat with him on another day about respecting food habits. I love my friend, but historically, her and her husband have always said yes to their son and not given him any consequences for anything. Both of us were present at the party and did not see them sharing the cake. They were outside eating in the backyard with their fathers and some other parents supervising while we cleaned up, so it's not an issue of anyone going behind anyone's back, just teaching children boundaries and respect. I let my son stay for the rest of the party and be with his friend, so it's not like I ruined the day. Am I the asshole for being upset with my friend's son and the fact that she won't punish her son for pressuring my son into eating cake? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. The action I took that must be judged is starting a fight with my friend over her not punishing her son. She says I'm overstepping boundaries and telling her how to parent, but I think because my son was affected, I should be able to ask her to handle it more strongly than she usually does with him. And now in the comments, God forbid your son experience a moment of joy and celebration. You're the asshole. For your information, sugar rushes are a myth. They have been debunked many times by scientists and medical professionals. That your son was irritable for the rest of the day was likely because, having had fun at a friend's birthday party, you pissed all over his enjoyment of the party with your ridiculous attitude and over-the-top indictment of the whole party. I can only imagine your son's embarrassment at you having the utter gall to demand consequences for a kid on his birthday who shared his cake with your son, who, by your own admission, has no health issues that would be affected by said cake. It wasn't the cake that made your son irritable, it was you. I seriously doubt that you being declared the arsehole in this will in any way soften your views on such things. It is perfectly fine to want to make sure that your kids eat nutritiously. You also shouldn't be a fascist about it. In fact, the more you try to exert such iron control over it, the higher the likelihood you will drive your son straight into an eating disorder. There isn't a doubt in my mind that your son has a stash of candy at various places because of you. You're the asshole. It was cake on a special occasion. Your son isn't being fed cake daily. Also, you have issues with additives in cake, but you find ranch to be acceptable. Edit, I've thought about this more and honestly, if I was your best friend, I would be pissed at you and asking you to talk to your own kid. He made her son feel bad about the cake that she made him for his birthday. He felt the need to defend the cake and was upset by what your son said. You're the asshole. And here is what's going to happen when your son realizes all of the food that he's not allowed to eat. He's going to sneak it. He will learn to sneak other things. He will have food issues and possibly a weight problem. Kids need to be taught that food is fine and we eat in moderation. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for calling my husband out in front of my friends on planting a recording device while we were having a GNI? This happened last week. I told my, female 26, husband, male 31, I was planning on having a girls' night in at home, and he initially was like, no, not here, get a hotel or something. I said I couldn't afford a hotel, plus there was no need for a hotel. He asked if he could join us if he was going to allow it, but I said no. This isn't how GNIs work. He eventually agreed to let me have it, and even said that he'd go out so my friends could be comfortable. I invited the girls over, and most of them had a lot of heavy venting to do. At some point, things got a bit emotionally charged, and there was crying. Lots of it. After that, we brought in the food and drinks. When I went to turn the TV on, I spotted a small device tucked on the side. I took a look and found that it was actually a voice recording device. I was in disbelief. I knew my husband put it in there to listen to our private talk, which felt highly violating. I didn't hide it from the girls. I showed them the device. I called my husband to get him to get home and confronted him right there in front of the girls. The girls were shocked, and my husband denied after I flipped out and called him out, and then said that he was feeling curious to know what we were talking about and wanted to make sure that we weren't trash-talking him specifically. The event was cut short, and the girls left. I kept lashing out at him for ruining the night and possibly my relationship and trust with my friends. I said that not only did he violate my privacy, but my friends as well, because they were talking about very personal stuff. He argued that it was no big deal, that I should have let him join us if we had nothing to hide, and that this was on them for opening up about private matters to begin with. He went on to talk about how I humiliated him to call him out in front of my friends. I told him they deserve to know who he really is after what he has done. We argued some more, and he went out again. We're in conflict until today, and I feel like I made a mistake calling him out like that, aside from how I felt about it. He claims that my friends will no longer respect him after that, but am I the asshole? And now in the comments, run. Also, ditch every device you have. Get a techie friend to take a look at least. Divorce him and run. Not the asshole. This is divorce levels of screwed up. If you really want to rescue this relationship, he needs to be getting therapy for his control issues, not the asshole. A bunch of red flags. Here, I think your husband dropped these. Not the asshole, but if I were you, I'd take a long, hard think about the relationship and if you still want to be in it. Not the asshole, he's 100% in the wrong. Him saying, if I allow it, is a huge red flag. He has no regard for you or your privacy, and I would honestly look at this relationship and ask yourself if it's worth it. I don't see this behavior ever getting better without serious intervention. Not the asshole, maybe it's my PTSD talking, but the fact that he A, did this at all, and B, showed no remorse and tried to blame you for it, and C, you are now questioning whether you need to apologize, has me concerned for you. Doing this at all is definitely controlling. It shows he doesn't trust you and can potentially alienate you from your friends if you stay with him. For the second part, you might want to look up an abusive tactic called DAVO, because that's what it sounds like. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. I would not advise entering couples therapy with someone who is using these types of strategies. They can end up manipulating the therapist too. Personally, I would strongly consider leaving, and maybe recruit some friends to help grab your most important documentation and possessions and leave ASAP. It is obviously your choice on how you handle this though, and honestly, I think so far you've actually done an excellent job. If you want additional support or a neutral space to process this, then therapy might be beneficial if that is an option for you. Though, maybe make sure there is no way he can listen in on your therapy sessions if you are doing them virtually. And with that, we are on to our next post, titled, Am I the asshole for apparently being the cause of our trivia team breaking up and no longer playing together? I go to a pub trivia with some friends. We've been a team for about 10 years. We all actually met at trivia when we belonged to different teams. Recently, one of the guys on the team got a new girlfriend and decided to bring her along, which was no problem. Or so I thought. All night, she ends up disagreeing with basically all of our answers. The issue ended up being that her boyfriend is our team scribe because he's the only one with neat handwriting. So, after being outvoted a few times on her answers, she starts with the, "Write my answer down or you know what you're not getting when you get home." Well, no prize for guessing what he does, and we end up going from getting almost every question right to getting almost every question wrong. Before the final round, there is a bonus question. You get to gamble as many of your points as you want on the bonus question. Now, we are really far behind, so we chose to gamble all of our points. We all agree on the answer, except for her. Hers is written down, and it is wrong. One of the interesting things at this trivia is that there is a mystery prize for any team that manages to get a first. Previous firsts are written on a board. A final score of 1 is one of the firsts. I point out that if we purposefully get 0 as our overall score for the night, we'll get a first and get the mystery prize. Everyone on the team starts laughing and agrees we should do it, except her. She wants us to try our best for some reason. So they come around and hand out the cards for the final round, and I jump up and take it. I ask, and everyone except him and her agrees that I can be the scribe. She announces that she won't be a part of something lame, and she walks off. We end up getting 0 for the round because we don't write anything. The overall scores are read out, and she returns. The host announces that we have achieved the first of a 0 score overall and brings over the mystery box. It's chocolate. She says she's claiming it, so I jump in first and grab it and say that it's a team prize, so we need to decide how to split it. She is staring daggers at me. I ask everyone multiple times if they want to share. They all say no, including her boyfriend. I then say, "I love this chocolate, so I'm keeping it." She goes bug-eyed and demands her share. In a calm voice, I tell her that she's been rude to us all night, refused to take part in getting 0, and so she doesn't deserve it. Everyone else doesn't want to get involved and leaves. He has now blocked all of us on everything, and the team are now saying that I went too far. I should have understood that she's his girlfriend and should have just shared it with her. Everyone but one voted to kick me out of the team, so now we formed a breakaway team. I think they're all overreacting and ending this. The other team didn't even speak to us at the last trivia, because we have been going over to each other's houses for game nights, etc. for years, and now it is all over. So, am I the asshole? And now in the comments, not the asshole, but the new girlfriend is. Manipulating her boyfriend with sex? Get the hell out. Assuming there isn't more to the story, because I can't see why people other than the boyfriend would block you for not sharing chocolate, not the asshole. She manipulated her boyfriend, ruined the evening, constantly overwrote everyone else's opinion, and sulked if she didn't get to choose the answer each time. Count it as a win that you don't have to play with her again. And OP says, "The others haven't blocked me, just he has. He blocked everyone. The others, though, kicked me out of the team. A few of them are a bit older, so they are a bit old-fashioned when it comes to women, but it's not like I was yelling or anything like that at her. I am confused. The guy who has followed me out of the team had met her once before. He hates her, and he also thinks everyone else is being weird over it, which is why he said that he is following me out of the team as well. Not the asshole. That girl has some clear problems in her head. Your friends sounds like shitty friends, especially the boyfriend who is clearly easy to manipulate, except the one guy, so just be happy that you got out of that group. As an avid bar trivia player, we have a core of 5 players, and we've had some extras come and go over the years. We have rather set rules about answering questions. Usually we come to quick agreement, but if we don't, all vote, majority wins unless someone is willing to die on this hill. Die on this hill is reserved for special cases, and luckily no one abuses it. If someone unilaterally started answering questions like that, they would be uninvited next time. Playing tonight, so wish us luck. And OP says, good luck. Sounds kind of like what we would usually do, except, new girlfriend. Our next post is titled, Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Call My 8-year-old Half-Uncle, Uncle? So, my family is kind of a mess. What you need to know for this is that both my dad and grandpa had kids young, so I'm 15, my dad is 37, and I think grandpa is somewhere in his late 50s. Grandparents divorced when I was a kid, and 2 years later, Grandpa remarried. His new wife, who was younger than my dad, brought a kid to the marriage, and suddenly I had a step-uncle. Let's just call him Brian. When we first met, the kid was like 4 or something. I thought it would be funny to call him Uncle Brian because of this ridiculousness of having an uncle so much younger than me. It was a joke and he liked it, so I kept calling him that. Couple of years later, and we find out he's not my step-uncle, but my half-uncle. Grandpa apparently had a second family he managed to hide, even through the divorce, and tried to pass his new wife off as someone he had met just after separating. Cue, big drama, messy fighting. I didn't see Grandpa and his new family for more than a year. He's only just started patching things up between the rest of our family, so I only just met Brian again. He's become a little crap. He is needy, whiny, and throws tantrums all the time. I just try to ignore him, but his mum spoils him, so I don't think he'll get better anytime soon. None of this would be a problem, except when my grandpa was trying to patch things up, he moved closer to my family, and now Brian and I go to the same school. It's a K through 12, and though I don't see him during the day, we sometimes run into each other after school. I've got a club, and he's in the after-school childcare thing. When we see each other, he keeps wanting me to call him Uncle Brian, and I keep telling him no. The other day, he threw one of his tantrums at school, saying I have to call him Uncle Brian. He's my uncle, and that means I have to do what he says. I told him no I didn't, and that I'm tired of him being a whiny brat. I am older than him, and that means he has to do what I say. He didn't listen, and kept saying that I have to call him uncle. We ended up making a bit of a scene, and word got back to our families, and Brian's mum said that if it meant so much to him that I should just call him uncle. I said I'm not doing that. Grandpa sided with her, and my dad hasn't said anything directly, but I think he wants me to just do it to keep the peace. But it's stupid. He's a kid, and calling him Uncle Brian just because he's whining that I have to do it is demeaning, especially at school. It was a joke when he was younger, one that I chose to participate in and not something that was forced on me. But this is different. Am I the asshole if I stand my ground on this? And now in the comments, not the asshole. By the way, I can't stop laughing at this kid thinking that you should call him uncle. Not the asshole, but I'm sorry, but this is hilarious. The kid is clearly on a power trip and is used to getting what he wants. This kid is being a brat, and giving in will only contribute to the behavior, which his mum obviously is in favor for because she is the one enabling it. Not the asshole. Why is your entire family behaving like toddlers? It's up to you how you want to handle this. Personally, I would have fun with it. Really exaggerate the uncle thing. Call him King Uncle Brian I, leader of the playground and smiter of the enemies. Every single time you have to address him. But that's because I'm extremely petty. Malicious compliance, you know? But you are within your rights and not the asshole for standing your ground. Since he is throwing fits over it, then you would basically be saying throwing a tantrum gets you what you want. His mother isn't doing him any favors by asking you to take the easy way out of it. Frankly, I think the adults in this situation should keep their attention on Brian's behavior and not yours, but what you can do is not engage. Don't call him a brat, don't even tell him he has to listen to you just because you're older. That line of reasoning is ineffective and really frustrating for kids. It will make you look much better for it if you just ignore him from now on. Kids thrive on attention, even if it's for bad behavior. Try to stay clear of him and see how that goes. And I think that is some bloody good advice. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.